quit before I quit. And so I was sitting in this office, and this is all running through my mind in like a time span of like approximately 3 seconds, which is like the fastest, I swear, I've like ever processed an event. And like there's more. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna pull a dad, but I can't pull a dad because he can't be exactly like my dad. And yeah, this just proves that, like, considering he already quit because of his bad meeting, and I'm here about to quit because of a bad meeting, like, but I'm not going to, because dang it, Dad and I got the same situation, which apple doesn't fall far from the tree, like father like daughter in this family for me and my dad. Anyway, I was like, I'm gonna build upon my dad's legacy. So my dad quit that meeting. He quit and throwing and left. I was like, I'm gonna last as long as I can and get out of here. And so like I did stuff like I was teaching at the time, and I had students with disabilities, so I made sure to get their disability letters to authority figures in the class that I trusted. So Bethany Edwards was a professor for the class. So her and Annie Leal, a grader for the class. So I got stuff like that. I got stuff wrapped up, so when I left, it was minimal impact, and things could just go on without me just fine. And so far as I'm aware, things went on just fine after I left. And so I was like, but it was still like my dad in the sense of like, it was one bad meeting that was the trigger for me quitting when I did. And then the other trigger was the moment I quit was, it was a horrible moment. There were TAs for a class I was TAing for who would go through the grading for an exam and grade correct answers by my students and other TA students as wrong when it was right. And she would, there were two female TAs who did it, and they would leak grading rubrics only to their sections, so their sections would have an average for an exam of like 80-some%, and then the rest of the class would be 60-some% because her students were cheating because they had the rubric. And that was exams, that was homework assignments, and the teacher was doing nothing about it. And I was like, that's a fireable offense, and they were keeping them on. And so we were about to have the second exam. The moment I left, I had exams. I had spent this time making the exams. I didn't give the rubric in advance, so that way it was a fair test, and our students couldn't cheat, that kind of thing. And so I had I spent like 2 weeks developing the test. I spent over $700 printing them, and I got harassed by two of the fellow TAs for the class, one male, one female. And then the professor came and just said the wrong thing, and I was like, I'm gone. I don't stand, like, this is the last stand for morals and ethics, which this university does not have. It was the University of California, Berkeley. They chose cheaters, literally, and they funded them. They paid them for cheating and like propagating cheating culture. It was insane. I was like, I want zero affiliation with this university moving forward. So I quit with no degree, and that was the moment. The two moments. The moment I knew I was quitting was the bad meeting. The moment I quit was the bad TAs in the class. And so I literally walked out with my $700-some worth of exams, and they are now, I still have them. It was like, you're not getting my original work. Assholes. So, yeah. That was that. And so I moved here, and my dad came down and helped me move. So I moved back and then flew down, packed the stuff up. Dad flew down. We got a U-Haul, moving back. And so could my sister move in here? Yes. I don't know if she's had those conversations with my parents. I'm going to guess not. She charges like $699 a night on one of her VRBOs, and that's fully booked. Okay, she's raking in the dough, so to speak. So if she did move in here, I would guess it's more of a case of something really unexpected happens and things go south or sideways like really fast, and she and her husband and the dogs can't quite recover. If that would be my guess. So, which is kind of like what happened for me, only mine was like really bad, a really hostile work environment for me and my students, right? Like, I'm like, my students are suffering because of this. My 70-some students should not be treated like this. I am quitting because somebody needs to do something, and nobody's doing anything, so I'm leaving to make a statement. And I did. And so there's that. And so that's the context for me living here. And whether my sister could or not is, I would guess her circumstances would not be necessarily the same as mine, but they might mirror it in the sense of things just going really wrong that I had not predicted whatsoever, or that she could not or did not predict whatsoever, right? And just ending up here and kind of being like, well, that didn't go like I planned it to go, like whatsoever. Yeah, my sister is really good at planning and organization stuff, so if she ended up here, things did not go her way, and she did not predict it. There's a bit of, she doesn't want to move back here. So that kind of thing. Maybe she'd start a YouTube channel. Maybe we would have 2 YouTube channels running in simultaneity if we were both living here at the same time. I don't know. But that is today, 30 November 2022.